Hi guys, and welcome to my new YouTube video. So you may be able to hear that I don't sound as normal as I usually do because I actually have a bit of a cold. But as you can see here, I'm currently in a folder and I have quite a few items here. So you may be thinking, what is this? What am I doing? Why can you not see me on the screen? What I'm actually going to be doing is just looking through some of my old media work. I've also made a 3-minute film with my friend Hannah. I don't know if she is happy with me to have made that video, but I've made it anyway. Again, I've also made a 5-minute film with my other friend Denise, so I'm going to quickly just show you part of that. So as you can see here, she's, I don't know, walking down the street and talking to the boyfriend, blah blah blah. I've put clips of that in one of my videos as well, so if you do want to go and watch that, go and feel free to do that. In my third folder, obviously, I have extra stuff that I had to do. So I had to do a film reading horror essay. So that's basically a couple of pages where I had to talk about what horror is, the sorts of people that started off the horror genre. We had to analyse a couple of films. So I'm just waiting for this to work, and as soon as this loads, I will be able to show you my example. So yeah, again, as you can see, I've got a couple of paragraphs about what horror films are, that obviously horror out of all of them is the most unique, and then it literally went on and on and on. Also in here I have an AV script, call sheet and schedule list, ideas and a treatment, a mood board and a colour board. That's actually quite interesting. It's where you make a mood board of colours and a mood board of pictures that can relate to the film or music video or whatever that you're making. So for the film that I was obviously going to make with Denise, I used quite a lot of dark colours, as you can see with the dark colours on the right hand side, and I've also got a mix of quite interesting pictures and also some brighter pictures, as that was for my GoPro advert. So yeah, so these are the mix of colours I used for maybe my GoPro video, my video with Denise, with Hannah, and yeah, so that's more or less it in the extra work folder. The more interesting stuff comes around here. So when you look at each of these sheets, I'll just open the cast list and the crew list. This is more or less what you do when you plan to make a film. So as you can see here, you've got the crew list, the director, the assistant director, the sound recordist and all of that stuff. So you more or less just fill all that in so they know who is basically in charge of all of the stuff. Again, with the cast list, exactly the same stuff, but these are the actual people that are going to be acting in the film, the music video, the advert, or whatever you could decide to create. Again, character's name, cast number, their name and a personal address, and a telephone number, so at least you can contact them, and they are proof, so that if the managers just decide to contact them, they are actually the real people. Other things that I would like to quickly show you are my Unit 3, which was one of the core units. So we obviously did some research techniques, so that was more or less showing people, or showing our teacher how to do research. So different types of research, so what a survey is, pros and cons of it, focus group pros and cons, observations, etc. We also looked at some obviously initial research, so when we decided to plan for our film or our advert or whatever we decided to do, we made a mind map, so primary, secondary research, how we segmented the audience, and then obviously research about Forethought TV, which was the company we were making a program for. So obviously we've done surveys, we've done interviews and stuff like that. So I decided to obviously physically do some primary research. So I've gone out, I've spoken to a few of my neighbours, I've got some information about the sorts of programs they watch, when they watch them, stuff like that. And then yeah, I made a mind map. As you can see here, I've done a little bit of a questionnaire analysis, so the types of gender that they are, the age group that they fit into, sexual orientation. I've analysed it quite in depth, so the information that we get can actually help us with creating a good programme for Channel 4. Again, like I did say, I did do some face-to-face interviews, not only with the neighbours, not only with my friends, but also to random people on the streets. Did a focus group with teenagers. Again, some of this stuff is quite basic, but I did it just in case. And then obviously for secondary research, that's when you find physical information that's already out there on the internet. So I looked at the programme viewing figures, I looked at the sorts of programmes that are already on Channel 4, 4TV, including Suicide, Religion, God, Children, Rights, Welfare, Music, and obviously Racism. Again, here, looked at some internet forums, had a look on Twitter to see the news coverage. Again, a Telegraph article, how they've boosted their 1000th show, where you can obviously watch Forethought TV, people on the show, the different costs, and blah blah blah. So we had to do a linear and non-linear essay, the history and the purpose of editing, and conveying meaning. So when it comes to talking about linear and non-linear, linear is obviously where it's been selected, arranged, and modified in a particular audience. So it doesn't matter where it's been recorded, it will be put in the right order. Obviously non-linear, all the things can be in like random orders, it won't be as chronological. Again, obviously here are some films that we did look at: Memento, Pulp Fiction, and Eternal Sunshine. All quite weird films, all quite different films, but they all are more or less linear or non-linear films. Unit 19 was probably my favourite unit. So what we had to do here is create ourselves an interface for a film. So this was my interface. I decided to do Alice in Wonderland, so you can obviously see the buttons that I've decided to pick with sort of quite funky colours. The cat, obviously sitting on a yellow chair, I don't know why, don't ask. You've got Alice next to a pot on the table. Yeah, something wrong with my Photoshop editing there, I don't know why there's a gap. Some dude here with like a weird hat. I don't know why he's got odd socks, I think I painted that on purpose. The actual title of Alice in Wonderland, very, very colourful, the trees in the background. And then right at the bottom I've got a little rabbit. And with our interface evidence, basically what we just made, or what I just showed you, we had to do a step-by-step of how we edited all of the items, how we put it all together, and then yeah, any final changes that we decided to make at the end. So that was my final design, that was me evaluating it, what I could have done better. Again, like I said, with the colour palette, we decided to create our own colours and mix it up however we wanted to mix it up. The type of text that I use, any social moral issues with my work, and then obviously I was going to compare it with a DVD interface but didn't actually get time to do that. I had to do a briefing specification, so this is sort of a what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, blah blah blah. So you're going to set your documents to a certain size, you're going to make sure the images are good quality, you're going to change the images yourself and not just get them from the internet. 3 hand-drawn designs to prove that you are in the process of deciding and you haven't physically said this is the design I'm going for, just to show the teacher. The deadlines, so what are you going to do, explain it in more detail what you're going to do, when is it going to be done by, and how will you ensure that you will get that done in that amount of time. So again, we had to make a little table for that. So when it comes to the fun and the conventions, this is really quite a simple one. I sort of accidentally borrowed the screenshot from a friend, but she doesn't know. But here, basically what you've done is separating your Unit 3 and 19 folders. This is my Unit 19 folder. I've got my images, I've got my documents, and that looks beautiful. Like I said with the mood board, it's basically the colours and the pictures that you sort of get inspiration from. This sort of reminds me of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, with the different setup. These are obviously the Alice in Wonderland ones, 3 completely different types. And then the final thing for Unit 19 that we had to do was a mood board. Now this is all the pictures specifically for Alice in Wonderland, so obviously in the end I decided to use a rabbit, I decided to use the Nice Queen, but some of these items didn't actually quite make the cut. Now going back to this folder again, we have camera techniques. So I've also done a 1-minute horror film, well no, not a horror film, but a 1-minute film. So my mum was in this, opening the door, blah blah blah, and opening the cups and stuff like that. And yeah, so she was just washing cups. It was a very basic idea, but my favourite part of this, boom, and then the credits came off at the end. Anyway, so also with this Unit 22, we had to come up with our 3-minute film ideas, but also 3 potential ideas. Well, I made 4 obviously, but 3 potential ideas for a 3-minute film. So idea number 1 was more or less just that someone wrote their number on a £5 note of where to send that £5 note to if it was just found, and then there was a flashback when that person told them to do that. Number 2, someone sitting at a desk, they dig up something, and it's basically their romantic partner. Number 3, someone's walking down the road, they see someone choke him, they help him out basically. And then number 4, someone's just doing research for a school project and then get a call from someone. I decided what idea I was going to do, and then I re-updated that and said, look, I don't think that's going to be able to be done, it's a bit difficult to do, blah blah blah. So there we go. And obviously the final thing that I had to do for Unit 22 Camera Techniques, showing how to use a camera. So here's me and my friend Hannah, sitting opposite. It's close up on me, close up on her, very close up on her, very close up on me, her over the shoulder, me over the shoulder, and then back to normal. Oops. So us talking to each other, and then we had to do that a third time as well. Well, it's a bit moody in this one, but yeah, you more or less get the point. Unit 26 was film reading, so that's where I showed you my essays. I did a science fiction film called Forgotten Homework, where I more or less got chased because I didn't do someone's homework properly. So again, I'm not going to show you the whole film, but my favourite part of it was here, when you see me jump in the air and I land in the library. My other film that I did was a standoff western, which Hannah actually recorded for us. So you'll see 3 of us in here. You've got Aisha on the left, Ellie Rose in the middle, and myself on the right. That was right at the beginning of media. We had to do a standoff western thing, so we've all got weird faces on and we all just look very strange, but yeah. And then the third film I had to make for this film reading essay was called The Awakened. This was done a year before, so that's why the actual screen looks a lot smaller. My drama friends Adriana, Shiv and Rhea were in this. Rhea was the ghost. Shiv had just gone to the graveyard and he lost, obviously, a member of his family, and Adriana was just his friend, and they're very, very angry at each other because one of them heard a ghost, the other one didn't, and then by the end of it they've had to like chase out, run out of the forest, and then they both get killed. Unit 29 was where we had to make our own music video, so I did actually manage to do that. I'm not very proud of it because it does look very basic, but it's me brushing my hair, playing a musical instrument, the different angles, singing on the phone to someone. Here I go, I'm going to start singing in a minute. Love me like you do, love me like you do, blah blah blah. That was Ellie Goulding's song at the time. Again, I had to do music video production, so that's more or less where I had to literally just do a bit of research, the song I decided to use, why I decided to use it, mood and colour board, and then, yeah, that was that. And then obviously for the music video as well, I had to write what a music video was, and then do a long essay about the different types of music videos that I wanted to research. My final thing, and probably the most exciting but longest task, was obviously Unit 19, so continued with Unit 19 Photoshop, but it was my industry practice screenshots. So Photoshop is an editing software where you can obviously use different tools, and what we had to do is we had to make a PowerPoint showing how to use all of the tools in depth. So a couple of the girls in the class had about 10 slides, a couple of other people had about 25, some people did have about 80 or 90, but I actually managed to have 104. So obviously some of those slides are just the titles, so I've probably had slightly less, but I've made an 104 slide PowerPoint, which I would never have done in my life. So the different menus, how to import, how to export, the different drawing tools, so cloning, filling, stroking, and then yeah, it goes on and on and on, editing, all of these things, interactive rollovers, production, aesthetic qualities, just everything relating to Photoshop. Now, I do hope you've enjoyed this video. It was very, very interesting to make, and if you do have any other questions relating to absolutely anything to do with media or to do with anything else, then please don't hesitate to ask me. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube already, please go and subscribe. Here's my YouTube banner. I do post videos every single Friday. I do vlogs, I do covers, I do reaction videos, and I obviously hope to go to as many events and stuff as I can so I can do more pictures and photography for it. But yeah, if you haven't subscribed already, go and subscribe to my channel, and thank you very, very much for watching my YouTube video. Thank you very much. Goodbye.